Hello everyone and welcome back to another must-see chess game from the history of chess from 1889. And in this chess game we have James Mason with the white pieces and his opponent is Mikhail Chigorin from the 6th American Chess Congress, a chess game. So Mikhail Chigorin was actually the winner of this tournament, and we know that Chigorin was the father of the modern school of Russian chess. And he's known as the first great Russian chess player. And on the other hand, James Mason was a very strong British-American chess master. And according to the chess metrics, he was actually the leading chess player in 1876. So James Mason was a very strong chess player. Let's see what happened. This is a very instructive chess game. Mason starts the game with pushing the d-pawn, d4, d5, and bishop to f4, and this is known as the London system, and this is also known as the Mason variation, but in nowadays it is known as the London system. So Mason was the first player to use this opening and he popularized this. He was the first player, but unfortunately it is known as the London system, as I mentioned. And the great part about the London system is that you don't need to memorize a lot of theory. Anyone can play the London system. So in the typical London, we have the typical standard London triangle. C3 and E3 is going to be on the cards. And you can play this almost anything. You can play this almost against anything. So we have C5. And Mason played not the most played move. He captured the knight with the bishop. Bishop takes on b8. A modern chess master would push the e-pawn and wait. He would not capture the knight immediately. So he is taking the knight with his developed bishop. Bishop takes on b8. Rook takes on b8 and then d takes on c5. Checking the king and then knight to c3. e6. So let me show you one thing before skipping this very important part. I mentioned that a modern chess master would solidify his position. We usually see this typical London triangle. Black develops his knight, usually. And almost at the final moment, white keeps his bishop. And if black somehow captures the bishop, we will capture back with the pawn and damage the pawn structure. And the knight on f3 can jump on e5. So that is the theory. But okay, in this chess game we see rook takes on b8, d takes on c5, checking the king, developing the knight, and defending the d-pawn. So pushing, charging at the center, and bishop takes on c5 with developing the bishop, e takes on d5, and in this position we have knight to f6. But actually this move has a downside. Mason checks the king. And where is the king going? We have king to e7. Well, let's take it back and let's check out what happens if blocking with the knight. Then d takes on e6. And if capturing back, we have check. And this is actually losing. As you can see, white is better. So already we can see that Chigorin's position is shaky. Bishop to d7 is also going to fail to this. Knight takes and then d takes on e6 and then queen to e2, targeting the pawn as well. So this is also pretty good for white. So in this position we have developing the knight and then bishop to b5, king to e7 and developing the knight. Finally knight takes on d5 and queen to d2 by James Mason. The immediate threat is capturing the knight with check and then capturing the queen. So the better move in this position would be bishop back and then bishop, or instead of bishop back to b6, bishop to b4. But in this position, Chigorin made a blunder. He played knight takes on c3. Can you see why this move was a blunder? This is what James Mason did. Queen to g5. As I mentioned, in this position, bishop back or bishop to b4 should have been considered. But now everything is falling apart. We have f6. If king goes back, then capturing the bishop with check and then capturing the knight. And white is a piece up. This is losing. So check, pushing the pawn, and then queen takes on c5 with check. Where is the king going? We have king to f7. King to d8 is going to fail to this. Basically, black is getting checkmated and there is no defense. So check, king to f7, but can you see why this move is losing also immediately? Can you see the best move for white? It is white to move and win. It is very simple. It is not capturing the knight with the pawn, but it is bishop to e8, winning the queen. So Chigorin captured the bishop and then he lost the queen and he simply threw in the towel. And this was the fantastic chess game of James Mason against Mikhail Chigorin. At move 14, Chigorin resigned. The most devastating defeat for Mikhail Chigorin in this chess tournament. So he won this tournament, as I mentioned, with scoring 27 wins and only losing 7 times. And one of those 7 defeats was this chess game against James Mason. So I hope you find this chess game instructive, and I hope you like this video. And I hope to see you next time. So take care and bye-bye.